Namanda, 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 Namanda. We made it to today. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Nice to have everyone here. Kind of an aftermath, huh? Everyone's taking a deep breath after a very major service, funeral service here at the temple yesterday. And so I would like to talk about that later on. But for our service order, we're going to have the reading of the three treasures in our large purple book, if you have one of the books. Let's see. Three treasures, number 1 on page 8. And then the Raisanmon, which is the three treasures in Japanese. Then I'll take my seat up on the altar and to chant the Sanbujo and the Sanbutsuge. So Sanbutsuge is on page number what? $78. Okay? So Sanbujo, Sanbutsuge on page 78. Nembutsu and Ekoku will complete the chanting portion of the service. And then I'll come back for our Dharma message for today. So please join me in the reading of the three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now, life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken ourselves, the Supreme Will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Sanbujo, Sanbutsuge. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Keshi Ubudya 悪非妙法者諸分世界無不影諸諸前の光明師匠天地諸国行税精進一人難病両が差分国土第一公主奇妙道場超然国領内音身無と実法来生新年少女糸が国下落安の公文神妙世が心象恩願の日益少々欲実法生存知恵無下少量死言知が神病軽量心知食の不中家業精進民主不敬Good morning again, everyone. Nice to have so many here today. Really appreciate all your presence. As I had mentioned, I think we all need a little bit of debriefing time. Yesterday we had a very major funeral service for Mrs. Terao, and so her husband, Reverend Terao, was served at the Buddhist Churches of America for decades, and so he had passed away years before, and the Terao family has been here. Maybe Lenny has been here for well over half her life. And so big chunk of time, and Mrs. Chidao was always so warm and welcoming and kind of embodied Shin Buddhist values and traits and characteristics, and so we all benefited from knowing her. She passed away at 102 years old, and so, you know, when we think of someone at such an elderly age, you know, we kind of understand, and it's she was able to live a very long and fruitful life and affecting so many people, touching so many lives. And at the same time, we're never ready when someone passes away. We lose our own family members, our parents and such, and it's inevitable, but we're never ready, just never ready. And so this opportunity in particular, yesterday, to have everyone had been impacted by her presence here, and so everyone wanted to do their best to have a special service for Mrs. Chidao, and preparations went on for a month, you know, and particularly the last couple of weeks were intensified and more things, and many people were coming, and we wanted to welcome all of them, you know, graciously, just as she would, and all of these things came to mind, and how do we handle it, and everyone's masked and being cautious at the same time and being considerate of each other, and all these things were part of what we were looking at. And so, you know, for the last few months this year, for the Dharma School, we've been learning about the 6 paramitas, and we only meet once or twice a month, you know, so we're only on the 3rd of the 6 paramitas, and we've gone through dana, which is selfless giving or sharing, and sila, responsible conduct, and today, just today, we started kshanti, which means patience, and each of these are like guidelines to help us smooth out all the bumps in our lives as things go on, and we can live a more smoother life, a more beneficial life for ourselves and for the people around us. And when we look at these, to think about dana, sharing, and you could see this happening yesterday. Now, even to put your mask on or back on, this is sharing our consideration of the health and well-being of others, and taking temperature checks and all these things. We want to make sure, you know, this person is well and these people are protected. And so this is kind of a sharing and dana, selfless giving, that is going on. People are coming because they want to pay respects for Mrs. Chidao and to the family. And this is, again, dana. And each of these 6 paramitas are going on. Responsible conduct, right? People are gathering and talking to each other, but being responsible. They're trying to keep their masks on as much as possible and trying to be mindful of these situations, which has changed with the pandemic. All of these things, you know, how close we sit next to each other, and all of these things within reason. We're trying to be very cautious and careful. And kshanti is patience, and to keep our own balance, so many things going on, and being patient to not try to do 6 things at once that we have in mind on our list, but to do them one by one, and we'll get them all done. We'll knock them down one by one. We'll put the chairs where they need to be placed, and the awnings where they need to be, and, you know, everything, the flowers and the foods and the fruits and whatever need to be placed. There's an order, and we don't have to panic. One by one, they'll get done. Sometimes we have 10 things, and we come and we notice that 5 of them were already done by someone else, you know, because they were thinking about the exact same thing, and somehow things get taken care of, and mindfully. And this is what I try to bring up when you think about the 6 paramitas and, you know, learning about Buddhism. You know, it's not like we need to sit at home at our desk and write them all down and find the meaning and find the roots of these Sanskrit words and delve into the research of it all, but I think it's just as important, maybe more so, to notice how it happens, when it happens, and how it happens, and I'm involved too, right? So when we come and we do the bazaars and all these kinds of things, these are ongoing, happening right here, right now, and being practiced by this Sangha, by this group of people, right? And it's not in exclusion of non-Buddhists or people who are new to the temple. They all jump in and just do. And so I think these are very important things to recognize that, what is our practice? I don't know. Somehow I'm just doing them automatically. And just by watching Mrs. Terao and how she moves and acts, I always like I've talked about, Michael has mentioned it too. Alameda Sensei's example, that our practice, we're more like smoked salmon, right? We just become imbued by the sense of the incense burning, imbued by the characteristics and the values of the Shin Buddhist traditions and teachings, characteristics. We imbue each other, and this is how we learn. Jodo Shinchi Buddhism. We soak it all in from everyone else around us, and this is our practice, right? So studying can be helpful or important, but not everyone enjoys that or wants to go in that route. And we don't have to elevate them just because they're the ones that prefer to read and write and study in that academic sense. Other people like to just jump in and help cook some steaks or help move some things around. Or maybe they can't and they donate to the temple because they see these things going on, right? The bazaar provides a little bit of money and the temple's able to survive. And we provide Dharma lessons, Dharma services, Dharma funerals, and each of these, particularly the funerals, when people are having a difficult time, everyone else comes together and provides the conditions where they can feel warm and secure and endure their grieving in that setting, right? And we add to the setting. It's not like we did a big deal of a thing, not that we can be patting ourselves on the back about it, but we do it, and we do it because they did it for me, right? And it's just this sharing, natural sharing, but at the same time, this is the depth of the Dharma, okay? And there's nothing more deeper than doing it. And studying it takes a back seat in my eyes. Study can be important, but the doing of it, to recognize it and to support it, either by joining or by jumping in, however you might be comfortable to do. We do it in this manner. And so I think it's always, as we decompress from the major service yesterday, we can reflect upon all these things. And I think it's helpful to think about it in that sense rather than to just collapse and hope our body recovers, but to recognize that the Dharma was going on and we were all a part of it. Okay. Please join me in Gassho. We'll conclude this service today. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Okay, so if sometimes we have new people and sometimes we have people who have questions, and we have the Ask Reverend Dennis on Zoom. But anytime you have questions about the service, about the chanting, and how come we chant, we pronounce it this way, but Sensei seems to be doing something different, and what are the questions that arise when we have a service? You can email me anytime, pull me aside after service, and I always have time, so we can share these kind of things, so we can delve into enjoying and appreciating and participating in our services and whatever opportunities the temple might provide. Okay. So today, I'll relight the incense, make sure it's burning, and please come up we do appreciate. We have residuals of yesterday's service, all the flowers that were provided for the service yesterday, we're able to have for today as well, and the special fruit offerings that were provided. Today we can consider them offerings from Mrs. Terao to our temple, that we are able to adorn the altar through the effects of Mrs. Terao. So everyone here, all the tech people who have offered to set up the Onaijin, we appreciate them all. So let's thank them again, and we'll conclude this service. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Please come up. Battery died. Good thing it wasn't yesterday.
Oh.